You know, it just occurred to me. I never actually detagged Montgomery Gator. Well, that's something we can't fix. You know, I'm starting to feel like Andy Matronic for reviewing all this bad FNAF merch. And I feel like Ashens for doing this on a sofa. Right, on the docket today is the second half of the FNAF Security Reach plushies. And yes, the tiny recycling bin now lives in the hoard back here. Anyway, without further ado, roll the intro! Now, the Glamrock Girls, they have similar issues to those plaguing the Glamrock Guys. Mostly due to the fact that they feel like cheap carnival toys, and they also use the same generic tag, which I would remove, but my scissors disappeared. Who else could be in the house with me? Oh well. Anyway, starting off with the other classic character to get a Glamrock version of themselves, Glamrock Chica. For some reason, they didn't do Glamrock Foxy, and just replaced him with a wolf. So, Funko's FNAF 1 Chica is kinda infamous. Definitely belongs in the was somebody stoned when they approved this pile. Anyway, let's see how they improved. So the first thing is, she can't really sit up properly. Even on a hard surface she falls flat. Quite literally. Next, her appearance. She looks more like a duck than a chicken. And looking around the top, you can see that somebody at Funko has their priorities straight. So at least they did get her clothes right, but she looks like she's wearing a swimsuit. So overall, she looks pretty nice, except for one part down on her legs. And it's the fact that they used... Now admittedly, it isn't as bad as it was in the sister location wave, thank goodness. At least they got the pattern correct. Overall, she's like Mario Party 8. She's not as bad as people say she is, but she could be a lot better. Anyway, next up, we have a power outage, apparently. Alright, there we go. Now we got some lights on. Let's see how long the batteries will last. Anyway, so Roxanne Wolf is the second wolf in the FNAF franchise, after Twisted Wolf from the novel series, which is kind of cool. So obviously, I only have the Twisted Ones novel. I've been chosen for the Silver Eyes and the Fourth Closet, but haven't been able to find him recently. Anyway, comparing her to a Foxy plush, she thankfully looks visually different, unlike the action figure. And yeah, she doesn't have the spike bracelets. Glamrock Chica doesn't have the spike bracelets either. But for some reason, she also is missing the pattern on her feet. You know, the one time it would actually be beneficial for them to just change the colors and reuse materials, for some reason, they don't. I mean, it's the exact same pattern as Chica. You've already done that before. And of course, the arms and legs do have... which does feel very bad. And then there's her hair, which is just one big piece of fabric. It's kind of like this star butterfly plush that I have, where her hair is just one big piece. By the way, the star butterfly plush is made by the people pitching for the other team. As for the other details, her belt is actually pretty nice. They actually bothered to give it studs. For some reason, I don't know if this is just on mine, but the pattern on the back doesn't quite line up. Somebody let me know if it's the case for all of them, or if I just happen to roll a lemon. And of course, for some reason, the choker only has one spike on the very front. I imagine that because the back is covered up by hair, they only bothered to give it good looks on the one side. Because apparently in Funko's universe, gravity does not exist. And the tuft of hair looks like something that they just got at the craft store last minute. All the plushies attract hair, so much so that I think these are the only plushies that I actually have to get a vacuum cleaner out for. Also, they forgot to give her the lipstick, which, judging for what they did for Funtime Foxy, thank you for not using again. In my opinion, the Chica and Roxanne plushies are about the same level of quality as the Freddy and Monty plushies. However, what knocks these ones down slightly is the use of... Okay, this joke has definitely run its course. And because of this, the one-word verdict for the Glamrock Girl plushies is... cheaper. So yeah, that's all the Security Breach plushies. Yeah, much like the action figures, there are only 4. Anyway, join me next time, where we... Probably restoring the power. That'd be a good idea. Anyway, see you then. Alright, let's see here. What the... Where did you come from?